today I got a good one because today we're going to examine one of the big bad boys of mythology who has taken the charts by storm, and that would be Cthulhu, right? And I'm going to explain to you how Cthulhu won the culture war. Clearly, this cosmic horror replaced everything. Everybody's bowing down to Cthulhu because of scale and significance. Vampires used to rule horror. We knew this, right? This was absolutely an in question identity about them. In this stream, I'm going to explore how Cthulhu didn't just survive horror history, he actually replaces it. He is at the center of a lot of our anxieties. Like vampires used to rule the night, like demons were over there embodying our fear. Modern culture has shifted. This is why the stories that we value are so different now, right? Because we're different. So cosmic horror overtook like goth horror. It's why video games love Lovecraftian mechanics. That's a part of it. Like he fits so well. The whole like love, like first of all, at the core of Cthulhu is Lovecraftian mythology, right? It's Lovecraftian lore. Lovecraftian lore is fundamentally different than everything else that you've read, right? It doesn't borrow from anything. It doesn't copy anything. It's not in lanes like the other mythologies exist. So it doesn't even work a lot of times within their framework. Within the framework of other myths, you can't understand what Lovecraftian myth is. It's fundamentally different. They don't respect any of the rules that we're used to. Like you're a creator god, and that means you intervene on Earth, you make a take. None of that stuff. They don't do any of that stuff by design. They're not even structured to understand any of that stuff, right? So that's why they're 100% different. But yet they're thriving because they're banging on a different core fears. All the stuff that we typically talk about, all of our like movies or books, like zombies, vampire, they're all about some collective psychological message that we're giving out. If this makes sense, right? Zombies, a fear of zombies represents losing control, right? The idea that all the rules break, right? You're dead, come back to life. We lose everything. And you notice that zombies are always associated with an apocalypse. The ultimate, like, running down a man. Zombies and viruses, right? They're 100%. There's not really Frankenstein, apocalypse. That doesn't really exist. Every now people mention a vampire apocalypse. They're never really doing that. Zombie and apocalypse, that goes hand in hand. Because what we're expressing is our own fears about civilization breaking down. Vampire myth, on the other hand, is really different. Vampires are more about fear of night, right? Like religious charge, religion charged belief systems. I think there's a tinge of like sexuality and vampirism, immortality. I think there's some other things that are going on there that gets you to talk about myths. Cthulhu is different. None of those elements exist, right? So if we look at like the older structure, and this is kind of in that Gothic realm, because Cthulhu's made a big, like right in Dracula's home den is Gothic culture, 100%. Like vampires were born. I think Gothic culture had contributed more to vampire stories than anybody else, right? On that level, they're the OGs with it. Dracula kind of represented sin, like seduction, corruption, right? Werewolves are about like loss of control, the animal's instincts inside of you slipping out. If you see a demon, it's just about moral punishment. Ghosts are about unfinished business. Lovecraftian monsters are very different. Like these monsters, like vampires, werewolves, demons, these all say something in the vein of humans matter. Your soul is something precious that actually matter. The choices or agency that you take matters. If you open a book like the Necronomicon, all that stuff, all these choices that you personally make, things that are about you, actually matter. What Cthulhu says is, nah, it doesn't matter. I don't even care about you, right? That's the level to which you get reduced. And this is a very modern reality shift. It's a huge thing. This is not like a small incident to all of a sudden see yourself like way down here. That's what you're forced to do when you see Cthulhu. Like Cthulhu shows up, he's always depicted as being huge in size. Like I know they did a South Park episode with that. And you look up at Cthulhu and you're like, man, I am not even just like a speck of dust to him. That's the scale. It's like the first time I saw Galactus in my neighborhood, and I was like, uh-oh, right? It's that level. So what that does is we've shifted as humans. We have different anxieties, and this is why we require different things to line up with that. Once we got into things like space exploration makes us small, right? You get that? You explore space, you realize how small we are. Quantum physics teaches us that reality is unstable. So we already got two bad things that are going on right now. AI teaches us that intelligence can be beyond us. Climate change means that systems are beyond us. Cthulhu says, yep, you are not the protagonist. You're not the star of the show. And ain't nobody came to see you, Otis. And that's a shocking thing. I don't know if you guys saw that moment in the was it David Ruffin story or something like that, where he's like, ain't nobody came to see you, Otis. It was a shocking moment for them because they weren't ready and prepared for that. And no one ever is. No one's ever prepared mentally to be told that you're not the star of the show, right? It's a devastating thing for mankind because we've been running around believing that we were the star of the show and we're fundamentally not. Let's see if I got it. Let's see this. Let's see this right here. Okay. This is it right here. That's Cthulhu. That's you. That's you. Exactly. Exactly. That's what they're saying is when we start looking at deities from this scale, from Cthulhu scale, what we realize is ain't nobody came to see you, Otis. And we are Otis. And that created a fundamental shift in how we viewed ourselves, and that shifted what our anxieties were. Vampires made us important because their survival depended on us, right? They needed us there to eat off of. Okay. I'm not saying it was a glamorous role that we had, but it was a necessary role. So this changes. All this stuff changes. Like the on a scale of what we're dealing with, it fits with gaming culture and cosmic mechanics coming together. It gives us like sanity meters, right? We're dealing with permadeath. We're dealing with cosmic entities that you can't defeat, cosmic lores that you can never fully uncover. So we look at various, lines of Bloodborne, Darkest Dungeon, Call of Cthulhu. These are all modern players who enjoy being overwhelmed. That's a form of cultural evolution. What we're seeing is being scared into something else. And Cthulhu, man, this guy started off. He was a local DJ at best, man. Guy was a local DJ. I remember spinning records at the mall. Now you got plushies, you got stickers, you have a cute cartoon, tentacles, and this is because culture neutralizes what is feared. It makes us feel good to make you look like a little, right, a little bee, right? That's what I'm saying. You got his little plushie doll. I'm sure he's happy with that. I'm sure that's never going to come up again in a conversation, right? I'm sure he's never going to show up and be like, yeah, I know you guys thought I didn't see those little plushie dolls. Yeah, but I did, bitch, right? So now we got to handle that. So this is how Cthulhu has emerged. He is a different kind of fear threat for a different type of humanity. We are now a different type of humanity. He is the reflection of what our fears, more than what vampires used to be. He's a whole different level of connection among humans, and he's here to stay based on kind of what we believe and the stories that we perceive. So I just kind of want to get into him just a little bit. Like I did a full-on myth on or breakdown on him, and Astaroth, and another one, Yog, out of the Lovecraftian myth. You guys can check that out. I'll put the link in there. But I just kind of want to take a cultural approach for this channel because that's how I typically will look at a myth like Cthulhu. So thanks for stopping in. Click that like and subscribe. I'll be back with some more mythology for you. As always, let me know what you guys are most interested in. I want to talk about things that are relevant to your mythological queries on this channel and my other. And on both, I will hopefully see you soon. So hopefully see you soon. I will hopefully see you soon. And stay classy, Sandy.